Hey,
amigas.
Happy Valentine's Day. More importantly,
What a
happy
day.
Galentine's. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
get
love
it.
Galentine's Day so much, but I thought it would be fun to do a Valentine's Day episode with Zach. This is Zach, my husband.
Hello.
You've been with us before. You
I
are
have.
one of the fan favorites. You
Thank
are
God.
a reoccurring star. You pass the vibe check.
I'm just full of affirmations right now. I appreciate it.
We were just roasting each other right before we started recording. I was going off about icks, and he was telling me that I have my own icks too.
Yeah. Icks are something that just come with any serious relationship.
Women
if you
can-
aren't, yeah, women can ick
No,
guys.
they can't give men the ick.
Debatable.
I don't believe in that. No.
All right, that's for another podcast.
A pet peeve is different than an ick.
Fine.
Because an ick is like something that's like, I'm not attracted to you right now. But I think a pet peeve.
I'm not attracted to some of the things that you've done though.
Okay.
I get it.
Well,
it's fine. Another day.
It's fine.
But thank you for having me back.
Yes, I'm so glad you're back. I thought it would be fun to do some questions. It could be like mom and dad give you some advice. Our teenagers are starting to date and they want advice from mom and dad, which probably would never happen. No one goes to their parents for advice. Let's be real.
Yeah, our kids like us. Maybe Hendrix would.
Hendrix will. Yeah. I don't think Rio will.
No, we're going to find out about Rio's relationships in the worst manner, I bet.
I know. I love that for her, actually.
Yeah, she's so cute.
But we can, should we like give a quickie story about us before we get started?
You want to tell them about a quickie?
Quickie
yes,
story
a synopsis
about
of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
The story of us. We did this was a while back. We did a How I Met Your Mother episode, which I like. That was so fun to record.
It was.
And the title was clever. Please go listen to it. Audio is bad, but go listen to it. But yeah, everyone always asks me how we met, and I like never know how to simplify it. So let's try.
Yeah.
So do you want me or you?
I can go.
Okay.
Yeah, I can start off. Attractive girl messages me on Facebook, wants to be my friend. And I just said, of course, that's a no-brainer. And I had a bunch of mutual friends with her, but I didn't know who she was. And it wasn't for a long time until I figured out like, oh, I've heard of you before. I'm fine with that. I'm cool with it.
So what he's referring to is that I dated one of his friends in high school, and it was very short-lived, and this guy talked to you a lot about me, but you were living out of state at the time because you're older.
I had only known you by a name.
Yes, and you were out of state in college, and I was still in high school when him and I were dating. Mm-hmm. And then when things were over, as soon as I graduated, I moved out of my hometown because it was toxic AF.
Oh, yeah.
And I had just gone out of another relationship with someone else and we were on and off for a long time. Relationship was also
Which
toxic.
I coincidentally have also known for a long time.
I know. The high desert, small town vibes, everyone just knows and dates each other. And it's fine. It's literally fine. It's not awkward anymore. But as soon as I moved into the house I was living in at the time, I was scrolling Facebook like we did back in the day when times were simple. And I saw you under the people you may know. And I remembered that the friend I dated would talk about you all the time. And I was like, oh, this must be the Zach that so-and-so was talking about. And then I got peer pressured into adding you by one of my best friends, the girl I was living with. And I was like, is this going to be weird if I add him? And she was like, no, like you're like an attractive girl. And I was like, wow, thank you. Thanks for confirming that too.
Absolutely.
And
I try every day.
I know. And then, and then you immediately added me and then messaged me, and we were just talking about music for the longest time. So just a timeline. I love giving the timeline to people. This is 2011. I'm 18. You are 19. Okay. So we start. I added you, or you added me, whatever.
On my
in August.
birthday.
On your birthday. Yeah, when you turned.
When we put that together 10 years later.
Wait,
when I got
were you
that.
18? No, sorry.
I
you
just
were 19?
had turned 19, yeah.
Okay. Really? Mm-hmm. No, you were 20.
Was I 20? I was 20, yeah. Because you were 18.
You were 20, I was 18.
Because I was a late high school 18.
Okay, so then this was August 2011. We start chatting on Facebook. We don't know each other. We meet, I think, in September that weekend. Literally that weekend. This is so crazy. And I like don't talk about this a lot because I don't want to like give a ton of people like, I don't know. This is like a rare, very rare experience. But we both immediately knew when we met, I think even through messaging before we met, that like we were going to marry each other. Is so like literally when you know. And so then we called it official in November on Thanksgiving break. And that was the second time we had met.
Yeah. I like to speak to that though, like a little bit, just so we can like
You
keep
love
going.
to speak about this.
I
get
do,
like really passionate about this.
I am a firm believer that a long distance can work because you get to know someone on such a deeper level because all you can do is talk to them.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, obviously conventional relationships work out all the time, but I feel like sometimes like even us like now it can just get mundane. You're just like so overly comfortable like just sitting there watching TV, but we didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think we both knew really quick on that like, oh, this is something for real. We better figure this out. And so we got very like deep in our conversations really quick. That
and we both dated a lot in high school, like enough to be like, I don't want to just date like if we're gonna date, it's gonna be serious, which is like so funny to make that decision at 18 and at 20. But yeah, so the timeline, we started dating in November. 4 months later, that March, we got engaged. So I was 19.
It was pretty bold.
And you were 20.
Yeah.
And I mean, our families were okay with it. Our immediate friends were okay with it. Everyone else was so skeptical.
Like, is she pregnant?
Even on
what's the problem? Like, blah, 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 blah.
I know.
Like,
and even on our wedding day, like one of our friends overheard someone at our wedding saying like,
oh, I give them 3 years.
I give them 3 years. And we're like, 10 years, bitch. Just kidding.
No, and every 3 years I've like, you know, want to write them a card.
Yeah.
Wish
we
them
should
well.
send her a card.
We should.
10 cards for the 10 years.
What a hell. Yeah.
But yeah. And then we waited a bit to have kids, and I probably would have waited longer, but those were my own insecurities and fears, and I needed to get figured out. And then our firstborn, that was weird that I said that. Our firstborn was a very beautiful accident. We got lucky with him, and then that was like the next season of life that got started for us. And I was I 24 when I had Hendrix?
I was 25. You were
24. I was 24.
Yeah.
So we got married when I was 20. You were 21. It's so funny. I wasn't even legal to have alcohol at our own wedding.
I know.
I wasn't of legal age. And then
we also couldn't afford it.
We were freaking broke. But yeah. And here we are 10 years later. So last year we celebrated our 10-year, which I feel like we should do an episode on how our 10-year anniversary went, because it was basically a second wedding, but it was so much fun. But
so much fun.
That is for another episode. So
but here we are, ready to talk to everyone about how to get into a good relationship or we're not experts.
We're not experts. And we have our seasons. And also, disclaimer, like, it's been a long time since we have been single. Like, so maybe some of these questions might be a little bit hard for us to answer. Also, I get like really stressed doing like advice columns. Not that I do it often, but because like when people ask for advice, I'm like, I need to know all the context. I need to know everything. I need to know like the people involved. I need to know their childhood trauma, everything, their Enneagram number, their sign. So yeah, we're gonna try to answer these. Well, I just like to know the full story. I don't want to be like tricked, or I don't want to pick just like one side. I'm like, what's the full story here, you know?
I got you.
So we're going to try to answer some of these questions as good as we can.
Yeah.
So, should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. So someone asked, okay, how did you decide that your hubby was the one?
Yeah. What did it?
I literally just knew, because it felt easy. That's literally, it should be easy. And that, I feel like, yes, there are situations and couples who like have to go through so much to get to like where they're at. I don't think that has to be the case for everyone. And I feel like a lot of people like romanticize that. Like, it should be hard. It should be this like thing where you're like arguing
not
a lot
everything
and
has to be The Notebook.
Yeah, I just knew because it was easy, and I don't know. My gut just knew. I think people around us were really supportive, and that helped me out. That helped me out a lot too, because I think if you're dating someone that like your family or your friends are like skeptical of, like there's a reason for that, you know, unless they hate you, don't want you to be happy. But it just felt really easy talking to you. Like the effort that you and I both put felt really easy and effortless. And so, that's personally how I knew. It was just easy.
Yeah, very, very similar thoughts on that. And I wanted, like, I guess, like, affirmation from people, like, you know, supporting it. And I got a lot of that from my friends, too.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with my dad really close to when I was like, do I want to go pursue and buy this girl a ring? And I was like, Dad, am I crazy to think this way? And he's like, not a chance. Like, I knew this about your mom after our second date, and we got engaged 6 months later.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all right. So
and I think too, to like speak to my personal experience, like my parents are divorced, for context, really, really messy divorce, messy childhood, messy situation. But my mom, so my dad proposed to her twice. I don't know if you know this, but the first time that he proposed, they were like going through with their wedding. Literally day of their wedding, she was like feeling super uncomfortable, and she was like so honest with me about this from like the beginning. She was like, I felt like something in my spirit was saying no, and like I was scared to say something, but I ended up like calling off the wedding. Your dad was really mad and annoyed, which like I get both sides. So then he proposes again, and she has those same feelings the second time on their wedding day. Even when he proposed, she felt like she didn't want to go through with it. And she feels those same feelings, but then goes through with it because she was scared of like saying no and disappointing more people. And so like her telling me that has forever been in my brain. I'm like, I'm just going to go with my gut. Like you just have to like really trust
really
your
good intuition.
Do I?
I think so.
Thanks. I feel like I do for myself, but when it comes to like reading people, I'm probably not the best. I see the good in everyone. I feel like
a little too optimistic sometimes.
Too trusting. But so I feel like my mom telling me that at such a young age, like I remembered that, like, okay. And I don't know if you knew this too. I wrote a letter on our wedding day to myself, or like I wrote it a while ago, but then
I do recall that.
I waited to read it on our wedding day, and it was me telling me, like, just asking like, how do you feel right now? You know, like if you feel way too anxious, like that's not good. Like good things don't make you anxious.
Yeah.
Or like they don't leave you feeling confused. And I just felt like so much peace, like waking up on our wedding day, like that morning, like everything about it just felt very like peaceful. And I was like, okay, I have my answer, you know? So anyways, I feel like okay, wait, side question with that though. Do you believe in soulmates or like having the one? I'm curious what your thoughts are.
It's really hard for me, I think, to answer that. I mean, I guess I'm so like locked in, obviously, in our marriage and you that I don't think about those things. About that, yeah. I mean, when I was younger, I think I'm like a romantic in those ways where I'm like,
you are.
Yeah, I am. So yes, but at the same time, I feel like if you're constantly pursuing that soulmate thing, you're not going to be content with where you are.
Yeah. Someone told me, I can't remember when it was, like if we were engaged, but so I don't know if I believe in the term soul. No. I don't know if I believe in the term soulmate, but someone told me like when you decide to marry someone, obviously it's like a strong commitment, but when you're married to that person, you have to be okay with like the one passing you by. Like another soulmate.
Yeah,
one. And what they meant by that was like, you could, if you are at your healthiest and like another person's at your healthiest, you can make it work. You can make it work with multiple people. So multiple people can be your soulmates. I don't know if this is making sense.
No,
but like
the
person that you choose to marry, like that is like the one that you're choosing. And I was like, whoa, that's like so trippy. Because it's true. Like there is really going to always, if we have that mentality, there is something better in everything or someone better, but it's like what you choose.
If you're like window shopping all the time, and you know me, it's really hard to be like, I just flipped our cars after having the car for
yes.
3 months. But
you and cars.
To me, those are things that don't matter in the long run as much.
Yeah.
But a spouse,
you
can do that too because of the person that you are, and all the relationships are now intertwined with us.
Yeah.
And kids. But I feel like if you put yourself in that position to keep looking and always thinking there's something, then you're not going to be happy where you are, and it's just going to lead to a very dangerous spiral.
Yeah. I know, it's so interesting. But then you hear of other stories of people who are divorced, which for me, I feel like lately I've been hearing a lot about that. And I'm like, dang, that's so sad for them. But I don't know. I guess it just depends on the situation. Every situation looks so different, but everyone has a different story. Okay. How do you keep it fresh and hot?
Fresh and hot. I guess how we define it. Fresh and hot.
I think just fun, spicy, alive.
I think it definitely comes in seasons too. Early marriage, so easy to just be spontaneous and do whatever the heck we wanted. Elaborate romantics, just something off the top of our head, spur of the moment. And then we have these, monster children. Now I love our kids. And it definitely takes more thoughtfulness. And definitely knowing, I feel like I've had to really get to know you more to know what makes you, see that I'm trying and see that I am listening to what you need for those, anti-ick flutters.
The anti-ick.
It's for one good thing I do, it eliminates 5 icks that I've done in that day.
That's the ratio.
It's a very accurate ratio.
That's girl math for me.
Oh, shoot.
But
did I just mansplain girl math?
You did just mansplain girl math. I feel like what you said, it's accepting that not everything, not every season's going to be fresh and hot. I feel like it's really easy to get to have this expectation of oh my gosh, it's going to be like this forever. And, and it's not. I'm someone who hates the honeymoon stage, which most people, sorry, I'm having a stroke right now. Most people love the honeymoon stage. But for me, I'm like, but it's not real. It's not going to last. So for me, I feel, I guess what first off, a lot of date nights. Have a lot of time. I think what helps me is time as a family, time for just us, and then time on my own, whether that's actually me recharging alone or being with girlfriends and letting loose. I feel like when those 3 things, which is so hard, when those 3 things are balanced, I feel alive. I feel youthful. I feel great.
You're at your best.
I'm at my best. And so I think just having dates, doing things that make us feel young. I love that we love going to concerts and we love
doing this.
Podcasting.
I'm having a good time. Are you
that.
Not?
I'm not.
No. Did that ick you?
No, but I think going away, doing beach dates on our own, going and watching the sunset alone, just things like that.
They're tangible things that even with 2 kids we can get a sitter for and go out. And I think one of the best things we've done in our marriage is have that from the beginning, it's okay for the kids to go to grandma's house for a couple days. It's good for them to be gone, and it's really good for us for them to be gone.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel very recharged after that.
And I think just checking in with each other, we've had so many seasons where life is just so crazy, and the last thing we want to do is okay, how are you doing? But for a while we had the habit of doing highs and lows every night, and we should bring it back. And I literally think when we did the How I Met Your Mother episode, I was saying we should bring it back, and we didn't. So this is literally our sign to bring it back.
All right, we're going to tonight. Hold us accountable.
Yes, please,
listeners.
But it's just, I love being reflective with you and letting in each other on those little parts of our day, because so much happens in the day that I forget to tell you about. And even though they're not anything crazy, I'm I want to share that with you because you're off working or doing your own thing for the day or whatever. And so I think it's just a lot of date nights, alone time, and if you don't have the chance or like the privilege of like getting a babysitter, like whether that's financially or just not knowing people, like have a date night at home. Like don't just like sulk in bed, because like we are so good at that, just being like, all right, let's just like watch something and just like lay in bed and like not do anything. And
like we've been doing a lot of cooking together. A lot of times it'd be like one of us cooks for everyone or things like that. But something I've really liked the past like 6 months is that kids will go down, we'll feed them, they will have a great night with us, and then we will start from scratch cooking our own dinner and just making it our own little date night. It's good.
I love that. Okay, next question. How do you and Zach handle arguments, parentheses, even though I know you don't because you're perfect? I don't know if she's calling me perfect.
No, we know she's talking about me.
Confirm, whoever asked this question, you know who you are. I mean, I feel like we've had moments where we're impatient and we're like arguing, or like the tension is there a lot more than it needs to be. But I don't think, we really don't argue that much.
No.
And we're not perfect. Like, even though this person claims that we are. I think that you can have conflict without arguing or without like being angry. And I'm a child of divorce. I'm scared of anger. That is an emotion that I don't feel normally.
And I'm very angry.
You're passionate and fiery, but like, I don't like, you're not angry towards me.
No.
And I think like my mentor told me this a long time ago. Just have each other's, and this has worked for me in any relationship. Just have like each other, like, what is it? Each other's best intentions at heart. So like basically like whatever you're confronting me about, to have like your best interest, like to know like, okay, you mean well with this, like don't take things too personal is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think that comes a lot with feeling safe with that person. So I think if you're not feeling safe with that person, or like if you automatically feel like defensive, like maybe that's an area that you're probably insecure about. And I've had moments like that where it's like you confronted me about something, and as much as I want to be like, oh my God, no, like, and feel insecure about that, I'm like, no, that's because I already feel this way about myself, but I know that you're not coming at me with that, Yeah. So I don't know. I think just like, again, we've had moments where we're impatient and snappy and grumpy with each other. It happens, but I think we've maybe had like 2 big blowouts in our marriage. And one of them, we were sleep deprived with a newborn, which happens.
That was quite the night.
So yeah, I don't know. What would you add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the comfortability thing, like not being afraid to, not like I'm going to say something like deliberately trying to hurt you, but to make you like, hey, this is what I'm feeling from this situation.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. That's just, how I'm going through it. But we also are very like smart about what we're going to, get into. If it's something like, I know you react to certain things a certain way. I know that, you're not angry at me. You're just in that, whatever the situation is, and vice versa. And for me, just growing up and not really in a household where communicating how you feel was ever really, taught that well. Other than bottle it up, and then one day it ignites, and then
everyone reacts.
It's just like, that's not productive for anyone, and that's not a good environment for our kids. So I've been learning really well the past couple of years to address it quickly instead of let it fester.
You did
but
that
now
last night.
I did, but I'm still discerning on when to address certain things at certain times. It's not 9:00 when the contacts are out and we are winding down. That's not the time to bring up things unless it's like detrimental to life. But
and I think too, like, because I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm going to snap and rage. Like, if we talk about this right now, I'm not in the right headspace. So even like telling you like, right now is not a good time. I just need like 10 minutes alone and I will feel so much better. And it's taken some time to get there, because I think when we're newly married, you're like, no, and that's the thing too. Men are fixers. Like, men are just like, I need to fix everything. Like, here's a problem, here's a solution. Where women are more like, I just want to talk through it. I want to process. Like, I want to like I don't know all sides to the situation. So I feel like just allowing maybe yourself that space to like really think through things before you want to have a conversation, and then your partner like respecting that you need that space. Like I feel like you've always like respected like my feelings, even if I tell you like, hey, it hurt my feelings when you like said or did that, and me even saying like, I don't know if you meant it, or like, I know you probably didn't mean it, but I just have to tell you being like, oh my gosh, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way, but like I'm sorry. Like it's just like I think it's just so important to, I don't know, just communicate that without it like without being like, oh my gosh, you're like, if you were to respond
like
to me like
you're being ridiculous, you're being crazy,
you're being too sensitive, you're being crazy, I would literally not actually but like smack you if you were like, you're being crazy. Sorry, that's no, I wouldn't smack you, but like metaphorically, like that would really
you give me that
feelings. Look. The Latina look.
Yeah, that Latina look.
No, but it would hurt my feelings if you're like, you're just being this, because like I was told that my whole life. But anyways, yeah, I think just like feelings, like you have to feel safe with that person so that you don't take anything super personal, and just like talking through literally everything, even if you know you're going to get over it the next day, like maybe just talking through that, and like, cause then it's going to fester and grow. So, okay, someone said being Latina and worried about disappointing your family by dating a white man. Ooh. Okay, you can't answer this one. What?
It's fine.
You're hurt. You're offended.
I'm not hurt. It's
I get it. No, I get it.
Me really.
Well, Zach is technically half Mexican. Biological dad is from Mexico. However, you are adopted, so you can claim it, but you also can't.
I didn't choose to be adopted.
Wait, this is so sad.
I got adopted by literally a bowl of carrot ranch dressing family.
They're like, so sweet.
They're
though.
amazing.
We love them. We love them. They try.
Yeah, sometimes I do. I wonder like, what would life have been like if I was raised in the Mexican household where I almost was raised. So
crazy.
And then I'm like, what if I was raised with my mom's family and all the chaos that they went through?
I know.
So many what ifs.
Many what ifs.
Not worried about it. I'm not looking for my soulmate. No more what ifs.
So I actually did not have this experience. My dad didn't really care who I dated, like culturally. My mom was more like talked a lot about marrying white because, and this is like, so like, I hate even saying this out loud, but this was like the mentality that my parents as immigrants had. She was like, your life will just be easier. And that it sucks hearing that at like a young age, because like for me, like I didn't seek out like, oh, I'm going to date or marry a white guy. I was just kind of like one of my ex-boyfriends was Mexican and then Salvadorian. And so I never like was like, oh, this is like the route I'm going to choose. And like, and this is a conversation that I haven't even had with my mom. Like I wasn't like, hey, like, did you like really want me to date white? Like, what's the deal with that? I'm assuming, knowing her, that that's maybe what her mentality was. And I don't, like, it makes me sad that she felt that. I don't agree. But, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, that's like a whole nother issue.
I'm not allowed to speak.
You're not allowed to speak on this. I will say, if they're disappointed by you dating a white man, I get it. I feel like culturally, it is really hard to date someone from a different culture. Like you and I have had like tough things happen in our marriage because we are different cultures. Like we grew, I think that's in general, like just marrying into another family, like that's a lot, a whole other dynamic. And then when you have culture as a factor, that adds to it. So I don't know. I feel like if you just give it time, I feel like you just have to give it time. Like the initial shock of it is a lot maybe for families to like understand. But I think just giving it time and exposing each other if it feels right, like exposing your white boyfriend to your Latino family, like if that feels right, just continuing that. This is like one of those situations where I'm like, I want to know context. I want to know everything about everyone to like give better, I guess, advice.
Can I say one thing?
You can say one thing.
All right. Not even about like the heritage or anything, but it's like if your person isn't willing or wanting to get to know the culture or the family, then that should be an instant red flag. Like with your family, the first time I went over there, you know, everyone's speaking Spanish, which is fine because I worked in a Mexican restaurant and I was used to the language being around. But then, like, you know, instantly I'm given a guitar and expected to perform for like an hour for everyone. And I'm like, all right, here I am. I'm diving into this, you know, and, you know, the food. I'd never had like a full on Peruvian meal until then. And I'm like, oh, all right, I'm gonna do this. And I think also like just me as a person, like I grew up in Japan. I grew up in a very different culture. And my parents, as, you know, very, like I said, bowl of carrots, they actually dabbled in like, let's try this building with the dragon chasing the, you know, whatever it is on it. Let's just go there tonight for dinner. Or let's go over to this. Like, you know, they exposed me to a lot of different things. And like just me as a person, I like to try new stuff and I like to get to know people. I like to get to know other cultures and things like that. So I think it really depends on like the type of person you are with too. If they're very reserved and they don't want to embrace your culture, they don't want to, you know, get involved in anything, like, you know, or even like if you're the same background, like culturally or race wise, and they're very still like, you know, not about your family, then don't be with that person. Yeah. It just depends like what the context is. But I will say I do appreciate that about you. Like you're a down ass fool. You're like, you're right. Ready to like pull up with the homies. And you're like, even though I don't speak Spanish, you're like, you're down. Like and my family like loves and appreciates it about you. But yeah, I feel like it's just one of those things that I'm like, DM me the full story. Give me the cheeseman because I'm invested and I want to know about the disappointment of dating a white man. So, yeah, that's hard. That's so hard with like family and culture. Like it just gets, why are you smirking? I just think about how much you like pick on me. I pick on you so much. I love you. I pick on you because that's the Latino humor. We pick on each other, you know? Because we love each other. I like to dish it back, and then you're like, I can't believe you'd say that. Like I'm kidding. Just turn into like a little puppy. It's fine. Like our first year after we got engaged, we bought tickets to Peru, and you met my entire Peruvian family. No, we got engaged after we got our tickets. Oh, that's true. No, I remember we bought the tickets in like to go to Peru before Christmas, like after we had like become official. And your mom's like, I don't care if you break up, like we're not refunding this. He's going or you're paying me back, Valerie. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. That's so crazy. Yeah. Wow, that's very bold of Denise to do that. Okay, how do you put yourself out there to find love? You want to answer it? Or you want me to? I mean, this is also a question that I'm like, I don't have experience. Like we got started really, really young. I know like my friends who are single, a few of them are on dating apps and everyone feels so differently about dating apps. But I personally feel what a world that is. I know. And honestly, we never got weird to like engage before dating apps happened, which is so crazy. I feel like if that were me today though, like why not? If that's where the world is going, like if everyone else, I don't know how else you're supposed to, how do people meet each other? Like at work? Like I feel like it doesn't happen organically anymore, which is kind of sad. Yeah, I think it can. But it can. I feel like people there's so much pressure these days. Like there's so much pressure, especially online, where it's like, you list all your things and then like based off of that, like people will decide if they like want to take you out on a date or not. Yeah. And it's just like the weirdest thing. But and my good friend who he was on dating apps for a long time and he's like just one of my good friends and he was like, you know, I'm always anxious. I thought we were using names on here. Okay. I'm like trying to figure out who you're talking about. Okay. Sorry for that. Anyway, but he said, like, you know, going on dates with girls on dating apps gave him more anxiety than he's ever had. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't know, like, what option you are to this girl.
Yeah.
Did she, you know, does she have another date lined up after you? Is she going to ghost you? Are you, like, you know, her number 3 that she's, like, interested in? Like,
yeah.
And me, I couldn't handle the unknown of that world.
I
have thought it'd be really fun. I've said it to you for years. What if we set up like a profile together to catfish just for funsies?
Then Neve is gonna call us and put us on his show because he'd be like, you guys have been catfishing people. We love the show Catfish. It's been a hot minute since we watched that show.
That's how you keep it hot and fresh, everyone. You get a dating profile together and you catfish people. No, you catfish people you know.
That show makes me actually very sad.
It's pretty ridiculous.
I don't know. I feel like okay, I feel like I don't know if this is a lame answer. Like, find some community based on your hobbies. So whether you're an artist, you're a photographer, musician, a creative of some sort, build community around that, because like community in general is like so crazy. Like it multiplies so fast because we need that as humans. Like people need each other, and so people go and look for that. And I feel like having similar interests is like a really cool way and doesn't have the pressure of maybe online dating. And I feel like if your capacity is there, if you have like the mental capacity to like go online and go on a few dates and maybe not have super high expectations, but just being like,
just go with it
and go with your gut. Listen to your gut. If a guy's giving you the ick.
But what if it's a cute ick? Is there a cute ick?
There's no cute ick. Oh. No, does not exist. That is a, what's it called? Juxtaposition? An oxymoron. There you go.
There's no cute. Oh man.
Yeah, I feel it's just hard. Like dating these days, like that is so hard. And I'm sorry if that's you. Like that, like
it seems terrifying.
It seems terrifying and like a lot of pressure, and I feel like it gets harder the older you get too. Actually, what I have heard from a few friends who are single right now and in their 30s, they have admitted to wishing they would have just online dated or dated a lot in their 20s because they were so career focused that now they're in their 30s. It feels really intimidated. Like they feel like they're rusty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. So I don't know if that like resonates with anyone or if that's helpful.
I think of that Steve Carell movie, Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Wait,
what makes you think of that?
This whole, like what you just said, like you're rusty at it when his wife cheats on him and, he's in his Kirkland brand, like everything. And then Ryan Gosling just takes him under his wing, and I'm like, oh, I would totally be a Steve if that ever happened to me. It won't, because you're not going to leave me. Don't leave me.
Careful with the icks you give me. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I know you are.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that answer was helpful because I am dumbfounded when it comes to that. I do not have the experience. So I was a child when I got married.
Don't say that.
I was not a child. I was 20. I was of age. I consented.
You'll need to clarify this.
I hope people get our sense of humor. Like
they had to know us to know us. What?
Well, if they what? What did you say? Okay, what else? How to survive the parenting roommate stage. What I'm assuming with this question is that you just knowing this person, they just had a baby. I'm assuming life is just crazy and you feel like you're getting by and you feel like you're just a roommate with your partner. We've had so many of those seasons, even outside the newborn fog.
Yeah.
Or the baby fog. Do you want to answer this one?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, you have to address that you're in that roommate rut. Like, a peck on the cheek once a day for affection that can't be it. And, passing by, like having the food ready or, just coexisting, like you have to address that that's what's happening, I think, first and foremost. And then saying, okay, what is something tangible we can do? Like a grand romantic gesture, if that's your person's love language, go for it. But if it's something that's a little bit more like let's do this together. Let's come up with a plan together. Then that's probably the route to go.
Yeah.
And I think for us in those seasons, it did take that, like, one of us just addressing it. Like, I'm feeling this way about everything. And the other one is like, I don't think I've ever been caught off guard. I think we're just one of us was waiting for the other to say it.
Yeah. Addressed, accept. What's the third one? I'm trying
You're doing
to
the AA steps?
No, I'm just trying to think of an easy way. I don't know. I feel like exactly what you're saying is so true. Like addressing the elephant in the room, accepting that I feel like I keep saying like your season, but like it's so true. Like everything has a season. Everything has, I guess, an expiration date. Like knowing like this is not going to last forever. This is just what it looks like right now. And just communicating with your partner, I guess, like what your needs are. Whether it's like, I don't know, wanting to emotionally connect or wanting to like physically connect.
And also like accepting that, hey, your needs might not all be met in this season too.
Yeah.
Oof, like, which is hard. And, it's very humbling and you have to sacrifice a lot of yourself, especially like now there's a new life that you've made that's there. Or, there is just such a change too as like a husband, like watching your wife experience like motherhood and the crazy demands that go on it. Like my needs have to come like fourth for a while. And like if you go into it with that mindset, then you're going to do a lot better. And as the kids get older too, the demands change. And right now we're in a season where the kids need us both like equally, but they're also pretty darn independent. Like I'm pretty sure if we left the house for a day, they'd be fine.
I don't know.
Maybe not Rio.
Rio's scrappy.
Rio's terrifying.
She's gonna hurt Hendrix.
Hendrix would be fine. He'd probably build a magnificent Lego set.
Yeah, no, he'd be fine.
He'd make waffles. And watch like Spy Kids.
I know.
What a day. Honestly, sounds really fun.
I had a thought and then I lost it. Oh, okay. Something that someone told us kind of recently, which I'm like, honestly, I vibe with that. They said that in couples therapy, also, hold on. Okay, two things. Find other friends who are also married or are in the same season as you. Like, I think that is so important to be around other couples. It's like, it's so much fun. Like, and
we have friends who are single too, but we have like those other parents who are just like, the
parents that get it.
We're all dead at the end of the day, and we're looking forward to the timeshare years of our lives and Cabo and all the things like, but at the same time, like we can relate to each other and we can really feel it.
The relating aspect of it is really beautiful. So that was one thing. And then our friends told us that through couples therapy, like their therapist said, like, just make out every day. Just have a crazy make out session to like feel that. And I'm like, wait, I actually love that.
You won't do that right now.
No, I won't actually. I haven't eaten. I have hungry breath.
It's delicious.
Ew. But stop. You're weird. You freak. What?
Continue on. I'm just so inspired by you right now.
Inspired? What am I saying that's inspiring?
I'm just kidding. No, just keep going.
I'm not inspiring then.
Yeah, you are. Oh my God. See, you caught me. You can't do that.
Okay. They said that their therapist told them to make out every day. And I was like, wait, that's like so fun. I feel very youthful when I'm making out. So kiss and see where it goes. See what happens. How far you go.
I feel like we're at like an anti-youth group seminar. This is everything our pastor said. Don't do it.
No,
impurities.
I mean, just being fun and flirtatious like that can sometimes get you out of like a funk. But also, I get in my moods where I'm like, nobody touch me or I'm going to snap, and communicating that to you. And I'm like, right now is not the time. And you being like,
it's good that you communicate that with me, because I'm a very affectionate physical person.
Yeah. Your love language is physical touch, and mine is acts of service and gifts. Buy me all the things.
Oh my God. You want to tell them your high school yearbook quote?
No, that has nothing to do with anything. No, I'm not talking about that. You're so lame.
It's so cute because it's literally opposite.
I know. Okay, well, I feel we're gonna cap it there because if not, we're just gonna go on and on and on. And Zach cannot be. We don't need another white man with a microphone. So that's the second time I've said that today.
When do I get my conspiracies out?
That's the second time I said that today. Actually,
I'm not surprised.
But yeah, I hope that this advice was like helpful for any of you, even maybe at least one person. DM us with all the chisme though and more context because now I'm invested in some of these questions and I'm like, you have to tell me all the things. So,
and we're not therapists by any means, but we like hanging out.
We're cool. We're fun. We're hip.
We are fun parents. I'm not even going to try and deny that. We're fun parents. Some people
so fun.
Are just shocked when they find out that we have kids.
I feel like it's like a secret. Like it's a secret of mine. Like women at my gym, when they find out that I have kids, they're like, what? And I'm like, ooh, I like this secret.
Almost 7 and a 4-year-old. Like,
yeah, crazy.
You know, I could see people being like, oh, you guys have a new baby? No, it's like we got, you know.
We got a teenager.
Basically. It's smart enough to be.
I know.
But yeah, no, so I am so grateful that you have me back here.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. Happy Valentines to you lovebirds. And if you're single, keep vibing out there. Host a Galentines or a Palentines.
Valentines is awesome.
Think of me when you hear Valentines. I always capitalize the Val in Valentines because it's about me. I can't even say it with a straight face.
It's the most conceited thing ever.
I know. But anyways, keep loving on each other. Keep making out. Do all the things.
All the things.
All right. Well, bye, amigas.
Bye.